anticipated sporting event taking place this weekend between two British boxing rivals.
Yep, it's been 3 decades since Chris Eubank and Nigel Benn first touched gloves, and now their sons, Chris and Conor, will be going head-to-head in the fight of their lives on Saturday.
The story behind this is really fascinating, so we went to find out how they're feeling about following in their famous father's footsteps.
Two legendary world champions who fought in front of 15 million people.
It's very rare that the sons are now born to handle the business.
Nearly 30 years have passed since Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank faced off in 2 legendary British boxing clashes.
And ladies and gentlemen, Chris Eubank, the WBO middleweight champion of the world, Nigel Benn!
Now that rivalry is about to be reignited, not by the 2 veterans of the ring, but by their sons.
It's very rare you get that sort of rivalry as genuine as it was. And yet, alone to have 2 sons exactly the same as their dads, same approach, talk the same, fight the same.
I mean, ever since we turned pro, there's been talks of us fighting, debates, fantasies, will it ever happen? Are they as good as their fathers?
It's funny because the world sees my dad as the Dark Destroyer, one of the most intimidating fighters in British boxing. And to me, he was just like, you know, my dad who gets my nerves.
As a kid, Chris was also in the dark about what his dad, Eubank Jnr, did for a living.
I wasn't allowed to go to the fights. I wasn't allowed to watch him. I wasn't even allowed to go to the gym with him. I went to a sleepover, I think, around like 10 years old, and you know, I'm going through his VHS collection, and there my old man was on one of the front covers against Nigel Benn. And that was when I realized what my old man was and what he did.
Keeping Chris on his toes is his cousin Harlem, a fellow boxer.
I think he goes harder on me than anyone else. It's good because it's tough love, you learn the hard way.
And while Chris Eubank Sr. has some reservations about the fight, on the night Chris Jr. knows his dad will be cheering him on.
He will be at the fight. There's no way he can't be at the fight. You know, this fight wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for him. When I win, my father will be happy.
It's also a family affair in the Benn camp. For son Eli, the gym is his second home, though his dad's hoping he won't catch the boxing bug.
I would rather my son not fight, but then there is a high possibility. You know when you hear people say you can never love anything as much as you do your own child, you sort of go, yeah, all right. But it does make you see life in a completely different light.
Dad Nigel has flown in from Australia to oversee his son's training.
It's like when I look at how you train and how me, at my peak, I'm here, and how you're training in your technique, way past me.
There's every possibility I'll become world champion.
Yeah.
No, why is your lip quivering?
What are you going to say?
I was going to say, hold it a minute. He's got an engine on him, mate. Not a BM. Rolls-Royce engine in there, mate. He's got it. You're not there yet, are you?
Despite being in opposite corners, Chris Jr. and Conor have a lot in common.
Comparisons between us and our dads will always be there. But what a legacy. You know, if I'm half the man my dad is, I'll be a very, very happy man.
We both have a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibility to uphold our family names.
I believe for as long as there's a Benn or Eubank in boxing, it will always be spoken about.
I'm preparing for the biggest fight of my career. I have everything to lose.
Yeah, the sons are ready to handle the family feud, so to speak.
Whatever the result, history will be made when these 2 rivals step into the ring.
Wow.